Hi and welcome to SCW here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. Night 1 of the draft from SmackDown is in the books now. We've got 4 rounds of 5, which means 20 draft picks have been made. A few surprises amongst it as well between Raw and SmackDown. As expected, in each round we had 3 picks for Raw and 2 picks for SmackDown. So without further ado, in this video I'm going to give you what all the results are so far and my opinion as we go through them. So round 1 saw Drew McIntyre as the number 1 draft pick for Monday Night Raw, of course WWE champion. The show has been built around Drew McIntyre. It made sense to keep him in this position. It would have kind of not made as much sense for me to move him at SmackDown at this point. Same as SmackDown's first draft pick, which was Roman Reigns, of course the Universal Champion. He's done such great work with Paul Heyman on SmackDown since returning. The show, he just feels like the star of the show on SmackDown. It would have made not much sense to move him at this particular time. So even though at this particular moment we see the world champions staying on the same shows, for me, I think this was the right call. Asuka in round 1, of course, as well for Raw. She's the Raw Women's Champion after all. Makes you think perhaps that the SmackDown Women's Championship will probably stay on SmackDown, but of course, Bayley is not in there until Raw, so we're going to find out that on Monday night. Seth Rollins was the first big, real change and big shock of the night, going to SmackDown. Now, of course, did predict this on the video, but to see it actually play out, I was really happy about it. I think the Messiah gimmick has done very well on Raw, but I do think that he's been in the mid-card for a long time. I think on SmackDown, he can really prosper and move forward with his character on Friday night, so I do think he will be a big deal on SmackDown. It's good to see Seth Rollins as, very high in the draft picks and moving to Friday nights. The Hurt Business rounds off round 1, and what a great draw that is there for Raw. Of course, that means they keep the United States Championship, and as well as that, it just shows what great work MVP has done with Lashley, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin. These guys are seen as a top draw draft pick, so kudos to the Hurt Business. They're doing great work, and it's good to see they are part of round 1 there of the draft. Moving on to round 2 then, and of course it starts with Raw as each time, going into SmackDown, back to Raw, SmackDown and Raw in that format. So we start with AJ Styles, the most expected one, going to Raw. Of course, he wasn't happy, of course, with his relationship with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is on SmackDown. Rumours as well that he didn't like missing his son's football games. Of course, SmackDown previously, when he was there before, was on Tuesdays, and now it's on Fridays. This one felt logical, and of course, AJ going back to Raw, I think is good. It's almost like for like in Seth Rollins' role, and AJ has been playing around the mid-card. I think he'll be doing that on Raw, but potentially I'd like to see him towards the main event. I'd like to see Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles somewhere down the road, perhaps even as we go towards the end of the year. I think there'll be a nice little feud for Drew McIntyre. Sasha Banks will remain on SmackDown. I think this is great news. Sasha Banks, of course, she is the boss. I think she does the best work on Fridays at the moment. I like seeing her on SmackDown. I'm happy that she'll remain there, and we'll come on to a potential feud I'd like to see in a couple of moments, but we're going to go back to Raw next, and Naomi was a pick there for Raw. I'm surprised by this one. Of course, with the Usos, Jey Uso has actually got the Hell in a Cell match, the I Quit match with Roman Reigns, of course, at the pay-per-view. Naomi is going to be on Raw, which you think usually they like to do the couples. Will the Usos remain on SmackDown? We're going to come on to Jey very shortly because he does stay on SmackDown, but that's later on. I'll give my opinion on that in a moment. But we'll go back to SmackDown. Bianca Belair is the one I wanted to talk about. That, for me, was a big shock to see her go to SmackDown. Of course, the Street Profits are on Raw, the Raw Tag Team Champions. Makes you think they'll probably come to SmackDown on Raw, and I'm really excited to see if that will take place, how that will shape for SmackDown going forward. But of course, the feud I really want to see is Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. What a match, what a feud that promises to be, and hopefully we're going to get that. Now we have them both on SmackDown on Friday nights. Rounding off round 2 of the draft, we had Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, the women's tag team champions, will be remaining on Raw. This makes sense. Shayna Baszler, Asuka, that's a feud we still yet to see. Nia Jax, providing that Charlotte Flair will come back to Raw, that's a feud that needs to take place as well. Of course, Nia Jax wrote Charlotte off TV. Charlotte currently is still with Raw, but that could change as we get to the draft on Monday. Round 3 of the draft, Ricochet was picked for Raw as the first draft pick. I must admit, I was a bit disappointed by this one. I really wanted to see Ricochet move away from the cluster he's been in Raw. He's kind of been stuck in this position for a long time, for at least the last 6 months, where it feels like he's just almost opening kind of opening card level kind of a job. I'd like to see him do more. I think SmackDown would have been a nice fresh start for him. It's not to be. He's going to stay on Raw. Hopefully, though, there's a good plan for him going forward, and hopefully he'll be able to build his reputation going forward and can have a successful run on Monday Night Raw. We mentioned we come back to Jey Uso. Yes, he is staying on SmackDown. So Naomi, of course, is on one show. What will happen with Jimmy Uso? Will the Usos be split up going forward? We'll have to wait and see what's going to lead with that. But Jey Uso does stay on SmackDown. It makes perfect sense, though. Of course, the feud going on Roman Reigns, I expected that Jey Uso would remain on SmackDown. And I'm looking forward to the I Quit Hell in a Cell match. A really nice twist they've put there with the I Quit stipulation in that. Mandy Rose will be staying on Raw. Of course, she's just drafted to Raw, so it kind of made sense that she would remain there. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio moving to Friday Night SmackDown just when people were celebrating on Twitter. Seth Rollins saying that he's done with these now. He's moved to SmackDown, fresh start. It just felt it in the promo. It was obvious these two are going to be moved over. But I do think we'll probably get one match here with Rollins, and it probably will be finished. I expect them, Rey and Dominic. They're coming as a pairing. I think they're going in the tag team division, and I'm really excited about that prospect. I think these two as potential future tag team champions on the SmackDown brand, I think is very exciting indeed. One tag team they won't be facing, though, moving to Raw, is The Miz and John Morrison. Morrison lost in quick fashion last week. It does break up away as well with the Heavy Machinery storyline that's been going on as well, so I'm kind of happy about that. I mean, it's new things for Miz and John Morrison going to Raw as a tandem, but I mean, if you look at things right now, I mean, Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler over there, the Street Profits are currently there, and another team will be going there as well. The Raw Tag Team division looks quite solid at the moment. Going on then to that last round of the draft pick. Now, of course, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods shocked the world and won the tag team championships on SmackDown just minutes, or seconds, should I say, before the draft pick was made. Kofi and Xavier, the SmackDown tag team champions, moving to Monday Night Raw. A big shock. Xavier Woods going, hang on, you've not said Big E. What about Big E's name? Big E was drafted to SmackDown. So the New Day has split in the WWE draft. Now, of course, Big E has been going solo for the last couple of months anyway, but you did think that Kofi and Xavier would be on the same show as them when they came back, but it's going to be different. It's going to be Kofi and Xavier on Raw on Mondays, Big E on SmackDown on Fridays. Feels like the New Day still remains together. They will have a farewell match next week on SmackDown, but you can see the emotion between these guys. They really sold it well, looked very unhappy in the ring, but no, I think it's exciting to have two members of the New Day on Raw. Of course, the New Day's been on SmackDown now, what it feels for at least, I want to say, 3.5 years now. So it's going to be a nice change to mix things up with them, putting them on Raw. Does this mean the Street Profits definitely come to SmackDown? Of course, their current Raw Tag Team Champions, Bianca Belair, is on SmackDown. Kind of feels like that trade may happen. And of course, like I said, Kofi and Xavier, they've got the likes of Miz and Morrison, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. There's certainly some matches for them there on the red side. So that Raw Tag Team division is looking okay. Big E as well. I think he'll continue to do great things. He had a great match with Sheamus. The Falls Count Anywhere match, a lot of fun. And I expect that he'll continue to do good things on SmackDown. Maybe he'll push himself towards the main event as a solo competitor. Dana Brooke was the next pick, and I expect her to renew her tag team, of course, with Mandy Rose, which has been the last couple of weeks on Raw. Interesting, they were separate draft picks that they weren't used together, but nonetheless, both will be on Raw. Otis, Mr. Money in the Bank, was not drafted with Tucker, but he was drafted to SmackDown, which is very interesting. The Money in the Bank stays on SmackDown. Still feels like we're building those future stars. It'd be interesting to see what Otis will do. Will he keep that Money in the Bank? Of course, that lawsuit thing with Miz and Morrison seems to be delayed for now, which is kind of an interesting tactic since they're going to be split up. I do wonder if this is going to be quietly dropped. We'll have to wait and see with that. But I hope Tucker is on the supplemental draft, actually put to SmackDown as well, because I do think Heavy Machinery would be good as the top face tag team, or one of the two top face tag teams with Rey and Dominic Mysterio, and perhaps with Cesaro and Nakamura. If they stay on SmackDown, you're starting to think, well, maybe one more tag team, two more tag teams, and the SmackDown tag team division would look healthier again. Last one from Raw is Angel Garza. I did want to see him on SmackDown. I must admit, with the heel power that is on Raw, I do worry he could get lost in the shuffle. But Garza can play both face and heel, and I do think that he will have a successful run on Raw regardless. It's good to see that he was featured in this draft here, not as someone that's going to be featured on the next draft, of course, announcement, which will be on the free version of the WWE Network's Talking Smack. I suppose they're going to have another round of draft picks tomorrow, so that is going to be given it to us tomorrow morning, so looking forward to seeing what will come from there. But that's the night one anyway of the draft picks. It's very late where I am, but a lot of fun to watch SmackDown. Really enjoyed the show. Next, you'll see me for the Q&A on Sunday, so get your questions in. Ask SCW. Leave the hashtag AskSCW, of course, in the comments here. I'll give you a shout out and, of course, answer your question on the video. Thank you for watching this. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you do like it, then please subscribe. Hit the like button as well, very important, and leave yourself a comment. Let me know what you thought of night one of the draft, of the movers and the shakers. Are you happy how this has turned out? For me, so far, it's an interesting draft. I must admit, I'm even more excited for Raw. I do feel it's very unpredictable, which is quite exciting to say really with the draft. I had a feeling of what direction I thought it may or may not go. After this show, I tell you what, I'm completely open-minded. I think anything could happen going into Raw. Of course, we have Lars Sullivan that's returned as well. He's been added to the Raw draft also. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen on the Raw side. I'll be tuning in for it, and I'll be giving you the night 2 results as well that will be coming on the channel on Tuesday. And of course, as well, that I will probably combine that with this and say my overall thoughts with the overall draft. But that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching SCW here on YouTube.com. Have yourselves a great day.